All right, guys, this is Norval Central coming back at you with another YouTube video, and I really appreciate all the love and support throughout all my videos that I've had so far. And let's go ahead and get straight into it. So we actually had some news yesterday that Micahi Danzy was actually going to be deciding on his commitment on July the 15th, and I think that's very important for Florida State fans because he is a guy that Florida State really, really wants in this class. You already have Cam Davis, who is actually in the class right now, but they want to add a second running back to kind of pair alongside him. And you look at Davis, he's more of that powerful runner, has some speed to him as well. Don't underestimate his speed. But then you can get a Micahi Danzy with him to kind of have that thunder and lightning type of mentality with those running backs. I think that's very, very important. Danzy, as he is a track athlete, ran a 47.19 in the 200 meter. I think that's very important, very fast at that point, too. Very productive running back from Tallahassee and Florida High. And I think this is a guy that you definitely need to get in this class because when you look at the offensive weapons, I think he kind of brings a skill set that not a lot of people think about. I also kind of think about a versatility of a Lawrence Toafili and maybe play in the slot as well. This is a guy that you really, really want in your class. I know he was a safety in high school as well and played both sides of the ball, but Florida State really likes him as a running back. I think he can be that viable piece that Florida State needs. I know they have a lot of offensive recruits in this class, but I think Danzy kind of brings a different dimension as well as just a different track level of speed to this team that you desperately need. And you need to continue to recruit at a high level. David Johnson is his primary recruiter at this point. And the interesting thing about this, and I'm kind of surprised Dancy has not made a announcement a little bit sooner because the only school he's really visited throughout this process has been Florida State. But don't kind of classify this as a slam dunk because Florida State has struggled in the past with getting hometown products staying at home, like a Terrion Arnold, for example, going to Alabama. I think that was kind of a major recruiting loss for Florida State, but they did not show any kind of product on the field. So, in turn, when you don't show product on the field, those Tallahassee products say, okay, let's go ahead and look at our other options and kind of go from there. Florida was the other team with Danzy and Miami. But recently, after his exit interview, after the official visit that he just had on the 23rd, where there was a ton of prospects there, like Luke Cromenhawk, Jonathan Daniels. I mean, there were a lot of guys on the opposite side of the ball that were there. I do think that Florida State is in a good position because he did name Florida State his number one school. I know that's kind of a anticlimactic type of situation there from Danzy, and most people kind of know that just from coming through his recruitment and just looking at the last couple of months. He's already visited Florida State 3 times in the last 3 months, and I know that's not hard considering he's right there in Tallahassee. But it has to mean something that he keeps coming back. That's one thing that's going there. But he is a very, very productive running back. Like I said, he does have last season had 1,800 yards and 17 touchdowns. And I think that's very important because when you look at that production that he has, he's been able to do it all over the side of the ball. And then on top of that, go on the defensive side and play a little bit of safety too. That can definitely be useful as we go through there. But I definitely think he's going to play track and football in high school, a speedster that you cannot miss in this class. And I cannot wait because I think Florida State's class is just now getting started. I think July 15th is going to be a good day for Florida State as well. Jonathan Daniels is actually rumored to be deciding on July 15th. We'll see how that process plays out because we've seen the different decisions that he's made so far, especially with the top 3 schools list recently with Georgia, Kentucky, and Florida State. And then you also have Kevin Levy that's also going to be deciding on July 15th. Potentially, he did message me and say that. So that'll be kind of interesting to see if he does stick through with that recruitment as well. He got some other guys as well, Ty Hilton, who you don't really know what's going to happen with him just yet. And then you look over at Charles Lester, it's going to be deciding on July 28th. I think that's very important too for Florida State to kind of figure out what's going on there. Jalewis Solomon is also another prospect that we'll kind of see how that goes. Will South Carolina, will Auburn get involved? That's going to be something to kind of process with everything going on for Florida State's recruiting class. But I think overall, Dancy would be a tremendous get for Florida State. I think he brings another dimension. I definitely think you need to add another running back in this class just to go ahead and pair him alongside of Cam Davis, who I think both of those prospects can actually be ranked close to each other. And I think that could be something that you can kind of really hang your hat on as a staff because then you're bringing in both of those guys. You don't know what's going to happen with Trey Benson, but I definitely think that as you've run the ball throughout your time here at Florida State, you've been able to establish the run at a high level. And I think Danzy brings another dimension that you can be able to kind of exploit for opposing defenses. But I really appreciate all the love and support so far. Be sure to follow my social media accounts down there at the bottom. Be sure to hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe to the channel. It is completely free as I try to continue to put daily content out there for all Florida State fans to enjoy. I really appreciate it as always, and go Noles.